An all-new player is on the scene for mini e-reading, and its name is oBook. This is the oBook 86U. This unit features a 1200 milliamp battery, 15 different ebook formats, 32 gigs onboard storage, and a 4.26-inch screen, and it only weighs 90 grams, making it, on paper, one of the lightest e-readers in the world. Let's go over the checklist. Can you install your own apps? No. Does this have Google Play? No. Does this have audio? Yes. What type of device is this? This is a mini ebook reader. An e-reader is defined as a unit that is primarily utilized to read books, PDFs, and light audio processes, along with the potential for audiobooks. However, the word mini comes into play anytime the device in question is less than a 6-inch screen size. This unit retails for $119.99 USD. Let's get into it. So the oBook, how heavy is this really? I would like to see if it is as advertised and if it is indeed 90 grams. We're going to leave the silicone case off just to see what we're working with here. No, it is not 90 grams, it is 102. So I'm not sure where they got that, but if you put that, it gets even heavier. And if you put the little strap they give you, it's actually 126, so I'm not sure where they got that number from, but that's entirely false advertisement because there's nothing you can even take out, like SD cards or anything that would add to that. But either way, let's look at the build. Thank goodness it is a flush screen and bezel, but it is matte. You'll see here, it is not gloss like the Ink Palm and all these other devices that want to be a small mini usable device that's shaped like a smartphone, but they end up using a glass screen. This one's not, and that is the screen. There's no screen protector on it. This is the speaker and the earpiece for Wi-Fi calling. It doesn't have any 3G, so to speak. It doesn't have cellular data. You have a power button. You have volume up and down. Also page turns. You have a 3.5mm headphone jack. You have microphones. And you have a USB-C. The entire thing is this really nice matte aqua blue, and there's no stamps or names of any kind on here, so there's no QC pass, there's no FCC EU certifications, nothing at all. It's just the unit itself and the logo at the bottom. Disclaimer, if you've watched this far, there is no way to put English on this. We have tried APKs, we have tried going to the settings, and we tried a trick from our developer that told us to tap the top right corner 10 times. That forces this into the PCBA testing, where you can test the Wi-Fi, the e-ink panel, the touch digitizer, everything. We didn't even know this type of thing existed. This is not like touching the serial number or the MAC address, the MAC address. This is something completely different, and it led us to a deep dive of where we can look at the back end, and there's no way to put English on this. So unfortunately, it does not have English on there, and it just forces a refresh when you go out of dev mode. So if you've watched this far and you're hoping to put some APKs on here that will force it to English, like a launcher or something like that, it doesn't do it. Even if you go into the settings and you go over here and try to install things, like we tried More Locale and even tried Settings App APK, doesn't work. So you can't sideload in your own apps, but you can sideload in your own content. We'll get to that in a second. So you have Bookshelf, you have some other proprietary services, you have a whole bunch of learning things. So you have some dictionaries, learn how to write kanji, aka Chinese characters. You can choose whatever one you want, you can choose the difficulty, and then you can start doing as you see there, you can start doing the strokes. Now this does have a very loud speaker, and we'll get to that in a second, but these are mostly useless to the average person, so you'll kind of just have to avoid these. You do have some apps here, but the apps are unmovable. You can't install, you can't uninstall, you can't move them around or do anything like that. But you know what you do have is a glow light, and actually some small devices actually lack a glow light, but this one gives you one, which is really nice. You also have volume controls on the side, as we showed you at the top of the hour. You have Wi-Fi and Bluetooth on board as well. We're going to start with music and then go over to books and PDFs and then wrap up, because it's pretty simplistic. There's not too much outside of just some basic procedural things it can do. surprisingly, even though it shares with the earpiece, or if you want to use it as an earpiece, it's pretty high quality music, honestly. This isn't promoting itself as an MP3 player, but it is one of the selling points. This does read 15 different book formats, and it does say it has some light audio processes as well. And of course, you see you do have that 3.5 we told you about, so it can do music capabilities, and actually it's a lot better than the bigme, which is a dedicated digital audio player. This one actually sounds better, which is kind of silly the way they market their things. I mean, they said this was 90 grams and it's just simply not, so who knows what we need to believe. Let's open up an ebook. Ebook experience honestly is pretty good. It's fast, it's crisp, it doesn't have any staining or anything like that, and you can use the physical buttons to do page turns, which honestly is really nice. This display is fantastic. As you can see, it is matte, so it's not really affected that much by sunshine. And surprisingly, you can pinch and zoom to change the size of the text. You can use the other elements down below to change the size, to change the font style, the font weight. You can even do some light bookmarks and stuff like that. But honestly, as a micro e-reader, it's pretty darn handy. And to give you some scale, this is my smartphone, which is an Xperia, so it's quite a drastic difference in size. And just to give you a final thing, we must compare it against a 6-inch ebook reader. So that's kind of what we're looking at in terms of the size, functionality. This is really small. And honestly, it's kind of nice if you're just on the bus or something like that, or on public transit. You just want to like bang away books like this, and you say, oh, here's my stop. You just, standby mode and put it in your pocket. I mean, it's not 90 grams, but it's not heavy. It's extremely light. It's about half the weight of a traditional smartphone, and you get a little silicone case too, and this is actually snaps right in and makes it feel even better because it gets a high level of grip. I'm not sure why they included this lanyard loop. I mean, this is not for your wrist. This is huge. It's supposed to go around your neck. I mean, it's nice that they give you that as a bonus, but is anyone hanging this ebook reader around their neck? I'm not entirely sure. Anyways, enough chit chat. Let's get into, unfortunately, PDFs, and then we'll wrap this up. And I don't mean to scoff at PDFs, I just mean it's small, guys. Very small. This is a very small PDF experience. Now, it is going to matter how you format your PDFs, but out of the gates, there's no pinch and zoom. And that's a problem because you can't install any other app. So you're stuck with just this. And it's really tiny, and it's only 200 something ppi, so you can't really get a good depiction of what's going on. I've noticed with these Chinese units that obviously the advertising is evidently all over the place, but they always say things like the bigme MP3 player, digital audio player, says it can do this, that, and the other thing, but the audio is horrid. And then you get something like this, it's like micro reading, and books look great, but PDFs look horrid. And as a fair unit of comparison, we always use the same PDF when we use as testing on our units, and this just looks terrible on this unit. And I'm not sure if it's a problem with the operating system, because it's not a problem with the PDF, it's the exact same one, and if you use other content, it looks really good. That looks fantastic. Look how good that looks. And then a PDF looks just awful. The O-Book is all over the place. It's a result of a little bit false advertisement and a little bit surprise, as well as a hodgepodge juxtaposition between how good it is made on the outside and how terrible it's made on the inside. It does have a matte screen, it is small, and it does handle side-loaded content, but there's no English language options, it's heavier than they said it was, and you can't change your experience to any degree, making it fairly locked down, all things considered. This is easily fixed with a software update, but with such an obscure, unknown brand, there's no way to really get a proper sit-down with this company and work things out, so as it stands, this unit gets a 5 out of 10. The puzzle is not entirely complete, but all the pieces are there.